All right, what's happening, everybody? So you might have noticed there's some technical difficulties. Sometimes this happens. So if you get three notifications, it's not a new strategy. Maybe it is. I don't know. But you see, I got my boy Alex here. You're wondering where the heck are you, Morgan? I'm in San Diego right now, enjoying the beautiful weather. That's why we're doing it way later in the day. It's 1 over here. And also, there's been time changes this week. It actually technically could be 11:30, the normal time that I do this. So it is what it is. However, we should be live right now. Again, like we had some technical difficulties. So if you popped in, then you popped in again, you're like, Morgan's losing his mind. Well, I don't know. I guess I was. So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to spend the next 45 minutes to an hour answering your questions that you have out there. Y'all know how we do this. And I'm just going to vibe out. And Alex is here to help me as well. I was here for social media marketing world. So if you'll have content creation questions, I'm probably buzzing about that the most right now. I've learned a ton right across the board from that. So I'm excited to be here. If you all have any questions, please slip in the chat. And also as well, where are you tuning in from and where you're at? Y'all know what it is. Like we got, we're excited. We're here. We finally made it. I mean, hopefully everybody can hear us live. Because this is what's made this super difficult to get this started. Like we couldn't even get active in our own work. But talk to us about what's going on in your world.
What is up, everybody? Having a blast here hanging out with Morgan. This is our third time trying to get on live, but we're here. We made it. Maybe it's the next live strategy to hit people with the double notification. Maybe it's just a technical difficulty. We'll figure it out by the end of this session, but since I don't currently see any questions in the comment, Morgan, I'm going to start by asking you a question. You just went to your conference.
Yep.
What were some of the big takeaways that you had?
Yeah. So, Sean, shout out to you, man. Much love, and everybody chime in here as well. We're going to see what's going on. Could be some technical difficulties again. I don't know. But the three biggest takeaways. So I don't know if y'all know this. This is like the craziest thing in the world. I learned that YouTube, I don't know if y'all are YouTubers in here. Put a chat if you're a YouTuber. Put one. YouTube, literally, I'm telling you, this is crazy. YouTube paid out $89 billion to their creators in the past 3 years.
$89 billion?
$89 billion. So I'm just telling y'all, like, if you're a creator or you're thinking about doing something and you're not on YouTube, you're just messing up. I mean, I don't really know how to put it. I heard that and I was like, hey, everybody, we're going to do YouTube. We're going pretty much all in. So I'm not saying I'm disappearing from LinkedIn. I'm just telling y'all, like, YouTube's a big thing. So that was one thing I learned. 2, it was something called the ABT. This is a bar. I'm telling you, like, y'all listen, this one was really good. So the guy who spoke had instant credibility with me because he was like, hey, yeah, I teach Coca-Cola how to do brand narrative. So I was like, I got to listen to this guy. I was like, I got to listen to this guy, right? Clearly he knows what he's talking about. So we were talking and, well, no, I wasn't talking to him. He was talking. And he talks about this ABT format. And basically it's the and, but, and therefore. So what that means is, let's use cold calling, for example. So you would do a post and you would say, most sellers want to be phenomenal at cold calling and increase their conversion rates, but they face a ton of objections on the phone and aren't able to overcome them. And then therefore, here's a formula on how to do that. Right? So it entices you in the story because you're like, I want to be that, but like, yeah, I struggle with that. And there's like, oh, you have a solution? Let me follow you. So he basically was like, if you do anything on your website or you're doing like a story or a post, you want to have the and, but, therefore. I thought that was really cool. And I learned a lot from that. I thought it was pretty dope. So that was pretty cool as well. And then the third thing that I thought was like super dope was something around the 5 themes and understanding your 5 things of content. And I've talked about this before, but someone broke my mind and I had to get my mind back. And then I had to understand what they were saying because it was so good. So basically what they were talking about saying, hey, like you have 3 different things that you, or 5, out of the 5 content, you have 3 pieces of content that leads to revenue. So that's 3 topics that you focus on. Then there's 2 topics that are like personal. So like video games or anime for me or something like that. And then the person was like, you're going to take those topics and then you're going to create different pieces around that could be free downloads or things of that nature. And I thought that was cool as well. So, I mean, y'all, I took 10, 20 pages of notes. It's probably the best thing, probably the most information I've got on social across the board. So that's like 1% of what I learned.
It's real funny to me because I feel like people see videos on YouTube and people
Yeah,
see
yeah.
video creation, and you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, they're just having fun and filming it.
No.
It could not be further from the truth. How
Yeah.
much strategy and how much thought goes into it. People who do brand strategy for Coca-Cola, I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All we need is more acronyms to learn. So
Yeah.
ABT is the new acronym, you know, and I like it better because everyone talks about like paint your prospect as the hero, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, okay, but under what format, right?
Right.
Like under what structure? And so that ABT structure is a great way to focus everything, your videos, your prospecting messages, your cold calls. It's a really, really wide ranging format.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, it was incredible. So for everyone that's tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from and let us know where you're at. Were you able to get the link here? I think we literally have 3 lives might be going on right now, which would be pretty wild if that was the case. But but if you are in here, y'all, chime in, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. We're here to answer them. Sorry, y'all, for bombarding you with notifications. We were just trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to spam y'all. So again, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions, throw them in here. We want to be able to answer them today. So I know people are probably out, probably enjoying their St. Patty's Day. We're about to do the same here as well, but we wanted to dive in with y'all. All right. So if it's your first time here, let us know. We obviously love to hear that as well. And we have a really good question. And I think this is a good question to really start on here, which is you're starting from zero. You picking Twitter or LinkedIn?
You want to start?
I'll start with that as you get it sorted there. So I'm going to pick LinkedIn. And here's why. Even though the platform has definitely had some algorithm changes, even though obviously there's things on the platform where you're like, all right, Morgan, like it's not the same as it used to be. All these things are absolutely valid. What I will tell you though, is that if you're looking, well, it depends on what you're selling to. That's also a big piece of it as well. But again, if you're asking me, it's still going to be LinkedIn because you have access to B2B organizations. You have access to other creators as you create. The bar of creativity is low. Hopefully that doesn't fit anyone, but it's low. Like this, like the best creators are not on this platform or they don't know how to do it, which is interesting. But like the creativity is low, so you can really stand out if you do a couple things uniquely. And also as well, like you have multiple avenues to still message people and get meetings for whatever your service or product offering is. And so LinkedIn is still in its early infancies as a social media platform. Its original intention was not to be a social media platform. I think they just are now waking up to that in the past 2 to 3 years. I think COVID has accelerated that. So if I had to pick anything, I'm picking LinkedIn across the board. So how do you think about it?
I'm going LinkedIn too, and I just spilled my water. I'm going LinkedIn too, and a lot of what you said is true, but also what you have to remember about LinkedIn is that you're getting real humans that are tethered to a real job.
Yeah.
Twitter, you're going to have the bot problem. You're going to have the kind of alternate personality problem where
you can only see half of you. You got to scoot over, I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you see us now? I don't. In our frame, it says we're good, but I don't know.
Appreciate
hopefully you can see us now, Luke. All right, so continue.
But yes, so you're going to have those issues. And on Twitter, it's less human than LinkedIn, in my opinion.
Okay.
I would say
more automated, more process.
More automated, more process. I think there's less video on the platform as a whole. And I think the platform as a whole is more of either stirring up a ruckus or sharing news. So that's my view, at least. I haven't been active on Twitter in a while. I think Twitter is more of like a news sharing site versus like a learning and networking site to me. However, if anyone's had different experiences in the comments or I'm happy to be proven wrong. But to answer your question, I'm going LinkedIn all day.
I think Twitter, to a degree, yes. A lot of people have a lot of automated things, right? I think LinkedIn has it as well, but Twitter's a little bit more. I think Twitter is really good for people that you're looking to connect with that are maybe high impact individuals, maybe VCs, et cetera. Like it's easier to get in front of those people as well.
Right.
So Jeremy, let me know, or Johnny, hopefully that answered your question. Let us know if that was helpful. And that was a really good question there. So we appreciate that. And whoever's listening in, continuously ask your questions so we can dive into them. And Luke says we're good now, so we're solid. So I appreciate
people
you.
From Twin Cities, Mexico, Dallas. All right, spread it out.
Good. Glad we're good. So yeah, that would be my take on it. And I want to amplify on this point right here, give it a year, and it's coming soon. Yeah, I think the reason that all these things are happening on LinkedIn right now is I think they're looking to make changes. I know it can be frustrating when everything changes, the algorithm, all these things across the board. Like, I understand that, but I do believe that they will come prepared with certain things. And I think that overall, like, there will be benefits that everyone will receive within a year to year and a half. And it's just about sticking to it, which is the key. So that's what I would suggest there across the board. If everyone's thinking about what they should do, I would try to be active on LinkedIn. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week is at least applicable there. So
at least. What's up, Hunter from Baltimore? I actually have a hot take while we wait for a new question.
About Baltimore, or just a hot take?
A general hot take.
I was like, that kind of triggered you. Like, okay, like, sorry, Hunter, he's about to roast Baltimore. Like, I was like, that got a little aggressive.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. The hot take is in relation to the last question that we had, actually. My hot take is that within the next year, and maybe I'll say 2 years since the market moves slow, I think all teams, particularly B2B teams and B2B and B2C teams, frankly, are going to have in-house content creation. I think that is a big next shift that we're seeing, because you see with companies like Lavender, Grove Cookie Company, right? That when you're involved in a community and when you're not just putting out that same kind of corporate mumbo jumbo, you're making huge gains. And there's a big ROI case to be made about why you should have content creation in-house versus zero content creation, and versus going outbound and call it outsourcing the whole thing. You have someone whose job is day in and day out to just crunch content, right? Do a talk for an hour and maybe turn it into 10 micro pieces of content and so on. So you're obviously kind of venturing into this space. What do you think about the future of content creation in B2B?
So I agree with you, yet most people won't do it. And so the problem is that I'm just going to let you know right now, you can agree with me in the comments, someone can watch this replay and disagree. People are about to get cooked. I'm going to like people are about to get straight up cooked. And what I mean by that is there are people that I talk to on a day-to-day basis, and they're telling me like, yeah, like my executive, my CEO is getting mad or getting annoyed because I'm getting on a webinar. And I'm like, they don't get it, like where we're going. And it's inherently very confusing to me, because if you think about it, any executive person buys their products or services based on another influencer. But when it comes to B2B, it seems we would neglect how we buy things across the board. It honestly makes zero sense. And I'm telling you, y'all, you're going to see companies get absolutely cooked. I know executives that don't think this is a valid strategy, but I do know in behind the scenes what's going on, right? People are cutting their ad budget. That's not me just talking. That's not me trying to spit a new, that's a real narrative. Like, I literally have a client that's like, yeah, we're not doing any ads anymore. Cut out is like a good amount of their budget. Gone, no ads. It's happening more and more as I talk to people. And then also as well, what I've realized is that traditional marketing is not working the same. These are not things to spin a narrative. These is the real narrative, right? Outbound isn't working as much. I've worked with the top companies when it comes to outbound. They're not doing as well. So you have to create content from an organic standpoint. This is inevitably what's going to happen, but people have to get cut before they realize that. So Drew, we got to shout out some people though. Shout out to Drew. That's my guy there. What's going on? Let us know if you agree as well. You can disagree with us, Drew. You can also disagree with us as well. Who else is here?
Tara.
Shout out to Tara. Tara's a homie. We got actually shout out to Drew. Shout out to Tara. We actually need to link up. We're in Atlanta. We need to actually do something together.
Shout out to Tack.
Shout out to Tack. Shout out to Luke. Bring out the popcorn. And then what we got as well. So shout out to Nicholas. Good people here. You're a great person. You inspire me daily. I'm no influencer, but you got me to post on LinkedIn consistently. Let's see, consistently and having a brand help me land a job and helps me land business. Here, let me talk about this. All right, y'all. This is what people do not understand. So I was talking to an executive before we got here, CEO of a company, eight-figure business, right? And we're talking about LinkedIn and we're talking about branding. Here's the thing. Whether you all like it or not, you may not like it. They may not like this comment. Y'all might not like this. But having a personal brand is important, right? And I'm not telling you to do like my stuff. You'll see my normal setup. I got lights, I got the camera, I got all the animations. Like you don't need to go to that level, right? Because I have a different perspective on it. But I will tell you that your personal brand, what it does is gives you access. So let's go back in history, because I think people forget history. So why was it important in the Middle Ages to be a knight or to be a lord? Why was it important to buy the land? It was for access. It got you in the king's court. That's why people bought the land. The land is cool, but it was to get you in the court, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about early stages education, why was Yale, Harvard, Princeton, Stanford, why were they so important during that time? Is because they got you access to the people who get you better jobs. Why did people go to Wall Street? Well, because they had access to, at the time, people were making the most money. So if you look at historically on why people do the things they do, it's typically to get status and to access into things that other people do not. So the barrier now is wide open, and content allows you to get access to people that you otherwise would not. So I always tell people the reason that you're creating a brand, right, is because of the access it gives you. Yeah, the dopamine hit, yeah, the likes are cool, people give you selfies, yeah, I've had all that stuff, it's great. But what matters is the access. I don't know, Alex and I aren't here if I haven't created content, right? I would probably have to do this live in the middle of the street in San Diego, right? Like I wouldn't know Tara, like I wouldn't know Drew, I wouldn't know some of these people on here. And I know it's my little rant here, but that's why people just aren't understanding what's happening. Like it's not about the likes and the comments. That's just short-sighted view. It's about the access. The access gives you the information helps you sell those things. But you go into your point, because I just went on a rant. People were probably done with me, but let's, shout out to the people in here though. Much love to y'all.
There's some hilarity going on in the comments right now. we see you guys. But no, I wanted to just expand on a point that you said earlier about like when one of your workers is going on a webinar and you discourage it. Like those are probably the same people who back in 2012 were saying, hey, no business will ever go on Facebook. No business will ever go on Instagram, right? Why would we waste our time doing that?
Yeah.
If you're willing to go against the grain and be early and be willing to kind of take that feedback of like, what are you doing? You're crazy, instead of just waiting for everyone else to do it and then follow along in those footsteps. There is such a land grab opportunity, and this maybe not be a perfect example. I'll use White Claw as an example.
Okay,
like
it's a little aggressive.
I mean, making mixed drinks with seltzer and alcohol is not a game-changing idea, right?
Yeah.
Like that could have been happening for decades, and even so, even when White Claw had success, they really had to go on and have big time success to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars for like 2-3 years before Michelob, Bud, right, Anheuser-Busch, and all these brands started putting out their own seltzers.
That's a good point.
What if they had done that 2 years ago instead of waiting 3 years, right? So if you are one of those executives that's a little bit hesitant about this, or you're a person who's a little bit hesitant about it, the time of uncomfort is where the growth is happening, right? Like this is where the big time land grabs are happening, because once everybody wants in, then they charge for that space, right? That's the play of a platform. Is you get people that go in, create the organic content, bring in the users. Then once you have mass acceptance and mass adoption, then they charge for that space. Why wait for them to charge for it before you start taking it seriously?
That's a fantastic way of viewing it. It's like getting that really real estate, right? It's exactly what it is.
And you were ripping me on my White Claw take. You didn't even let me finish.
I did.
I'm messing with you.
All right, so if you have any questions here, let us know. Hopefully y'all enjoying this so far. If not, share it with if you are enjoying it, share it with a friend, like it. I know it's later in the afternoon. I know you have St. Patty's Day, but we're here just to drop some knowledge before we go out as well. So Drew, hopefully you're doing well. Wow. Okay. So apparently people were gossiping about me behind the scenes.
Don't tell them.
Okay. So that
Drew, happy birthday to the twins too. Saw that.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Drew. Much love for you there. Yeah, I don't like this gossiping though. Like y'all got to text me about this and what the heck y'all talking about. I don't like that. Here we go. But Nicholas was able to get opportunity. Shout out to you, man. Much love there. And let's bring the mead while we have a seat at the King's table. I mean, look, it might be mead and Morgan next time. Mead and Morgan. We'll do it. We'll do it somewhere in Europe. I'll throw on an English accent. It's gonna be bad, but I guess it'd be funny. Nightclaw. What is Luke? What are you on? You're like dropping jokes left and right here. Nightclaw.
Luke came
Meads
ready
of
to
Morgan.
play. Luke came ready to play.
Luke's clearly ready today, so that's interesting. All right, so let's pull this up because this is like, I know it's not a question, but it is something we want to address. And if you're just coming in here now, we're just answering questions across the board. If you want a content creation question, sales, I don't know if you have a personal question for me, like I'm open to answering anything. Alex as well. So let's do that. So who do I got for the attorney? Oh, we're gonna answer that in a minute. So okay, this is tech. This is a great point. If you're still in here, we're gonna answer this question because I kind of did say if you're not posting, you're a peasant or a serf. Right? So let's talk about what a peasant or a serf is if you don't know that. In the Middle Ages, it was the lowest of the class across the board, and you were outside of the city or the kingdom if you study Middle Ages. Obviously, you can tell I'm a huge history person. So these people had no rights of land. They worked a ton and got no recognition for it. Now, here's my take on this. And if Terry, you're still in here, you're going to vouch for this because we talk about this quite often. And I know some people may be listening in, you do this as well. You are ultimately, I'm going to say this because someone's going to try to cancel me for this. So here's the take. You can get out of being a serf if it's not about posting, it's about just engaging. So I know people who write very thoughtful comments, they never post, but they have a really good brand and they have a good network. Right?
Put yourself out there.
You don't have to post. You can just be the curator, come in the comments, drop some heat. Okay, people know who you are, right? You also can take posts and give your perspective on it as well. You could do a weekly post and do this as well. Or even if you're not even commenting, you're just networking the DMs. That gets you out of that serf or peasantville. Now, if you're just a pure lurker, you're not commenting, you're not doing DMs, you're not posting anything, you're not reposting, and you're just absorbing without at least engaging a little bit, you're going to be behind the ball of the real estate of LinkedIn. Let's just put it that way. So I'm not calling people you are a peasant. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the real estate of LinkedIn.
And if you think about it, if you're lurking, right? If you're scrolling the feed and you're seeing everything that we're seeing, right, and you're not engaging and you're not networking and you're not doing these things, you've already put the time in.
That's true. You already have put the time in. You're right. You have already
on the feed.
That is
so you're investing the time and you're getting absolutely nothing out of it.
Right.
So here's another point that I would make too, for people that are maybe hesitant to post, don't know what to post. I've actually done this before as well.
Yeah.
Is if you see a post in your feed that stands out to you, take it, copy and paste it, and at the bottom, post it, and at the bottom, write at Morgan Ingram, drop this gem. And I wanted to share it with my network.
Yeah.
It is not complicated.
It's not.
If you're willing to just put yourself out there, feel that uncomfort and sit in it and just support other people and just come back to me in 6 months and let me know how you did, you will thank yourself so much. And you don't have to be Mr. or Mrs. Sales Tip. You don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to put out video content. Like you don't have to do anything. Like just be known as a supporter of others. And that will take you so unimaginably far than you could ever imagine, even like 10 years ago, right? I mean, even call it 2010, pre-social media. How on earth would you get contact with all these people? Seriously.
I mean, you would have to go to an event.
Right? Go to an event, make 50 cold calls to get past the gatekeeper.
Send some visit cards that's going to get thrown away.
Send a direct mail.
Send a direct mail. Send a howler from Harry Potter, you know.
Oh, we got some juicy comments.
There's some really good comments. So we're going to dive into this. Tack, hopefully that helped answer your question. We try to spit facts over here. We try to
this mixed.
Luke's has a fantastic question, and then Nicholas, we're gonna get to your question, but I want to go in the comments first. So appreciate that. So first of all, we're gonna do the air horn for y'all real quick because I just love these questions, like really, really good questions. All right, so Nicholas, we'll give you some love here. This is it. And Nicholas and I have talked in the DMs and we've had really good conversations, and literally Nicholas isn't posting like every week. He's not. And we're not coming at him and like saying, you're not posting. It's like, he's not posting. But what he's doing is he's commenting, he's engaging. If Nicholas asks for something, I'm more likely to do something for him because he comments, he engages in the DMs, right? The majority of people ask me for things and I'm not going to do them because I just don't know you like that. Like I get extremely frustrated. This is me going on a No, slight tirade. Like you probably get this too. Like people will literally come on my DM and say, "Hey, can you like and comment on this, bro?" What? I've never talked to you. I don't know you. Why would I do that? People are wild, but those are the same people like personalize every single email. So watch out for those people. Anyways, so my whole thing is that like this is a great example. Shout out to Nicholas. And then I think this is another great comment here. Yes, they are afraid of that. They are. But again, who cares? The best thing that I'll tell y'all is the lurkers, there's always someone watching, right? Even if you get 4 likes, there could be someone watching that is a viewer, but it ends up being really impactful for you. And the best quote, one of the best quotes I heard from Gary Vee is he's like, it's easier to create content when you realize no one knows 100% your intention and you except for you.
It's a great quote.
So any person that comes on and says, "Hey, I don't like your comment," okay, you probably know 1% of what I'm doing. So any comment, anything you have to say is most likely irrelevant, especially if it's someone who's not a mentor or a peer. It just doesn't matter. So that's my perspective. But what's your perspective on these 2 comments? And we'll get to these questions.
So first off, I'll go to the last comment. I actually have never spoken with Nicholas directly, but to your point, I recognize his face. And so there's not that cold element there, right? Like, if he was to call me on the phone on a cold call, like that wouldn't be a cold call to me, right? I say, "Hey, Nicholas, so yes, you do not have to be there daily. You do not have to be posting. You do have to be commenting and you do have to support others, but that will go so far. And to Drew's point here, I'll tell a quick story actually. My previous sales gig that I had about a year ago now, or a little bit over a year ago, I was doing cell tower acquisitions, which is like
different game.
The least LinkedIn space you could ever think of in your whole life.
For sure.
And I got all the like around the office, it's Mr. LinkedIn and yada, yada, and just kind of kept going. I did a podcast with Nick and Armand on 30 Minutes to President's Club.
Shout out to 30 Minutes to President's Club. If y'all want to tag them in here and let them know we give them some love, tag them in here as well.
Tag them. So in the story, I was working a deal with a very rural farmer, right?
Okay.
They had like a cell tower.
Like a legit farmer.
Like a legit farmer.
Okay.
I'm in a competitive deal.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, look me up online. Like I'm legit, right?" Because one of the big things is like you want to actually get paid the money that you're promised on LOI, et cetera. I'm not going to go too deep into it. I said, "Hey, look me up online. Like I'm legit." And the lady goes to me, a rural farmer, "I looked you up on Google and I found your page where you did that TED Talk or whatever."
What?
Yeah. And we ended up winning the deal. So
that's
even
wild.
So even if people aren't engaging, even if people aren't liking, even if you get no impressions, it's also SEO.
Yeah.
When you look someone up on Google, typically the first thing that comes up is their LinkedIn page.
Right.
So you're essentially getting free SEO just by putting yourself out there on LinkedIn, and it literally has won me a deal with someone who is the least on LinkedIn person you can possibly imagine.
That's probably one of the best case studies that I've heard from LinkedIn, because there's always people out there being like, "Hey, they're not active on LinkedIn," and so you just gave a great example of someone that is again on the farm is finding you off of LinkedIn. I don't know what other excuses out there.
It's free SEO. It is free. Do you know how much people pay to be on the first page of Google? I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn will get you right there. They will build that SEO in for you. If you search my name on Google, the first thing that will come up is my LinkedIn and my podcast.
Yeah. I love that. Hopefully y'all took that insight and it's helpful for you. Luke's killing me from peasant to queen. Luke, what are you on today, my guy? I see you have a serious question we're going to get to you. Nicholas, I'm going to be super real with you. I have not. Okay. I don't know how y'all feel. Let me know how you feel about this. I have been so locked in, and this isn't hustle culture or hustle porn or whatever, because I know some people are gonna be like, Morgan's too, like, I just don't care. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like the Super Bowl, I just like Mahomes is gonna win because they gotta make Mahomes win anyone. And I don't even know who won the world. I don't even know who won the World Series. I don't even know what's going on in hockey. I know that we won the college football because of UGA, and I did care about that. But right now, in the NBA, I don't know what's going on at all. I know there was a trade for Kevin Durant. I might go out there and watch him because I'm a huge fan of Arizona. But like, I just don't care enough about anything that's going on in sports because it inherently has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So I saw that Princeton won. I'm gonna pick Princeton to win. Like, literally, that's where I'm at with it.
First off, Kevin Durant got traded to the Suns.
Yeah.
And in the warm-ups for his first home opener, he busted his ankle. And yeah, he's like,
So he's done.
He's out to the playoffs. So he's gonna so he's gonna be joining the Suns basically. Anyways, I'm curious of what people think in the comments on this too. I was just talking to this about a friend, to a friend. I remember when I was in high school, which is a while ago now, the NCAA tournament March Madness was like the sporting event of the year.
Oh yeah, it was like the thing.
You like Selection Sunday. It was like, let's get together, grab some grub. It was like every night of games. You're peeled into every second of every game.
Yeah.
You're checking your bracket every second. This year feels like the least hyped up NCAA tournament I have ever experienced in my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm curious if anyone feels the same. Maybe it's because there's no kind of like juggernauts or undefeated teams.
Or some all-star player. Like, I was not hearing anything.
Or some all-star player. Well, I mean, the all-star player is Wemby, who's coming out of high school. So my take is I think that one and done had a big impact on college basketball. It's kind of what I think. There's no Coach K. There's no Roy Williams.
Yeah.
It's a hard time for college basketball right now. So I'm with Morgan. I have no clue who I have for the tournament. I don't even have a bracket for the first time in ages. So we're picking Princeton.
Yeah, we're going Princeton. I literally was like, I don't know. I was like watching the highlights this morning. I was like, Princeton won. That sounds sick. Go Princeton. That's literally, it was the simple decision. My dad was like, are you going to fill out a bracket? I was like, bro, I don't even know what's happening. So I just picked Princeton to win.
I'm putting all my popcorn savings on Princeton.
Yeah. So there's that. We appreciate y'all hanging with us. And we're going to get to this other question here.
Does anyone have any serious questions, or are we?
No, we have a serious one. We have a serious
here we
one.
go.
No, this is a real question.
Oh,
this is a very, very good question. So, how do you escape the dopamine hit? Need to log into LinkedIn and check your comments. I'm new to engaging more on LinkedIn and find myself feeling like I'm checking too much sometimes. So we will answer this question. Alex, you can start first. But what I'm going to say is, like, when y'all see this, how do you all feel? I know. Shout out to Tara. I know that you're doing consistent content. Drew, I know you're picking up your content. Anyone listening in that's doing, I know Sean, I know you're doing content as well. So we have a good amount of people who are doing content. Would love to see what your answer is to this question. I have my perspective, but Alex, you go first.
First off, I think it's fair to say this is probably something that we all struggle with,
right?
Like, especially if you have LinkedIn on your mobile, even if you don't have push notifications turned on, you can be swiping past, and then you see the little, whatever it is, you see a little red number, and it's like a higher, kind of high number, and there's like that constant urge. So I think part of this is just work has gotten very busy for me, so it's a lot easier to not check in the morning. So what I do now, to answer the question a bit more directly, is I have pretty specified periods of the day in which I check LinkedIn. So now if I make a post, one of the big things is that responding to comments on posts take a while. I don't know what you've done here. What I've started doing is I don't really respond to comments on posts till like 24 hours later.
Yep.
So instead of that constant urge to be like, ooh, now this person responded, and now this person commented, and now this person commented, and you got to kind of go back and constantly respond.
Yeah.
I'll make a post and I go back and respond to all the comments in bulk 24 hours later.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of helped with reach a little bit too, but that's maybe like another topic. I feel like the algorithm doesn't like when you hop in and you start responding to the comments right away.
Yeah.
But the main point that I'm trying to make here is just have specific time blocks. So I have my specific time blocks where I know I'm going to be responding to comments. If I'm prospecting on LinkedIn, let's just say, and there's a post that comes up on the top of my feed and I can drop a comment in a couple seconds, I'll do so, right? But I mean, a lot of my prospecting does involve, hey, let me look at this person's page, let me see what their interests are, let me see what their company is. So I think that naturally you're going to kind of end up there in your workflow anyways, if you're someone who checks your prospects LinkedIn. So the main answer is time blocking plus a conversation of setting that intention, right? Because you can get so sucked in. That's the point of the platform, let's be real, is to suck you in. So just set those hard boundaries of, hey, this is when I check, this is when I do this. Almost task it out, maybe is a better way to say it. Like, I know I'm going to go back 24 hours later and I'm going to respond to all these comments. throughout the day, there might be a little 2 minutes here and there where I can go and drop a comment and go and do this. My inbox, sometimes I don't get to messages till only the weekend or a week later or 2 weeks later. Like the way I kind of task it is like I'll say the 3 activities. Number 1, most importantly, for me at least, is engaging with others. I think if you don't scroll the feed and drop the likes and drop the comments, it's just not good. Number 2, I would say posting and then replying to those comments. And then number 3, the inbox. Like, I'm sorry if you've ever been in my inbox and I've been delayed responding to you. There's just so many hours in the day, and there is just a prioritization aspect to all of this. If you need my attention, drop a comment on a post, and then I'll for sure hit the inbox.
Yeah, I think those are all great breakdowns. I appreciate everybody in the comments, like adding in their perspective. Wow. I know we have Luke said he took an entire year off of Facebook and Instagram.
Some really thoughtful comments here.
That's awesome. We have, it just feel like it isn't work to me. Well, and Sean said it doesn't feel like it's work to me, so I enjoy it. But when I need to put on the phone, work down and talk to my wife, amazing. Drew's like, I don't touch my phone for the first hour of the day or last hour of the day. I really like that. It's not a perfect system by any stretch, but avoiding the social drudge for your day start and is massive. Time block, Tara is a fan of that. Okay, so there's some really good stuff. If you want to have more opinions, you can. So here's my thing. When I first started, I was dopamine overlord. Like I would check it so much. And it was something that I wasn't used to. Like just getting that much engagement, that many messages, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to strive for that, right?
It's overwhelming.
That's a part of it. So I do something very similar to you now. I time block to answer comments and certain things of that nature. I have gotten to a place now where I've just said I can't answer every single DM. I get frustrated with LinkedIn mobile. I don't know about y'all. I saw Drew said about the bugs. I feel like it's like dial-up. You know, like you feel like it's like dial-up. Like I'm like, wait, like what's like this is
a horn for that one.
No, yeah, like no. This is literally how I feel. So I'm gonna turn this one up. Y'all gonna hear this sound and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like I will be looking at my DMs. Someone will have something they have to say, right? I'll type up something pretty thoughtful, and then I click send, and it takes like a minute, and then I'm just like, and then I literally leave the DMs. I'm not even kidding you. I literally leave. So even if it's important stuff, like I will just get so mad, I will leave, and then I won't respond to you probably for a while, and you're gonna get lost. That's how bad the DMs are for me. So if someone actually needs me, yeah, you can email me, but like it is absolutely, it just isn't possible. And here's a hot take though. Here's the hot take.
Hit us with it.
I think this is, some people are not gonna like this. Some people are not gonna like this, but this is just me.
That's the point of a hot take.
I know, but I know people are gonna like this.
I'm tired of people saying hot take and it not being a hot take.
No,
everyone in the comments can handle hot take.
No,
right
this is
we're ready for it.
This is a legitimate hot take because some people do say this, and like maybe some of you all comments that actually do say this in your content, and this is just a perspective. So every single content creator, I don't care who you are, at the 3 year mark, you have to make a choice. And this is going to go into my point on the hot take. You either have to continue to do what you're saying, but you're not excited about it, but you've gotten the audience, so you have to continue. 2, you completely switch it up, but you're not going to, that audience is going to be like, wait, you talked about this, so you're going to have to change your whole thing. I'm going through that right now, which I'm comfortable with. 3, you mail it in, you continuously coast, you write it out, but you try to do some crazy stuff along the way, and then you're confusing your audience, and then you're not excited. And so yeah, Drew had this conversation. He was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, that's what happens. I only have that because I've been creating for 7 years. Actually, a decade past LinkedIn. I was doing something before LinkedIn. So my point is that I don't like the narrative that some people say when they say comment on every single person's post and respond to every single DM. That is not feasible after year 3. It's not. I don't respond to everyone in the DMs. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't have the time to. I'm building a business. I'm trying to do certain operations. I have people after me. I have clients after service. I don't have time to answer every single DM. I just don't. I have an over amount of content that you can go watch and figure it out. But to answer every single comment in DM and for people to disparage you for that, I think that's a bad narrative that some people are saying. And if you feel like I'm directly calling you out, then like, we can talk about it. But I'm just telling you. You get to a point where that's just not feasible. I think for the first 3 years, yes, But I think people get so caught up in like, I have to comment and do DMs over and over again. You're just not going to get to everyone. And if people get upset about that, then that's absolutely ridiculous because it's counterintuitive. We talk about this culture of like, hey, you shouldn't hustle, but then we expect every single person to respond to every single comment.
Horn that one.
That doesn't make any sense. Think about it. That makes zero sense. We're saying, hey guys, we need to stop hustle culture, but you want everyone to reply to every single DM and every single comment? That's just ludicrous to me. And so that's my hot take. I don't like this narrative right now. I think we need to stop. I think we need to say, hey, I'll reply to the comments meaningfully, and I will make sure I invest into deepening my relationships, but I will not respond to every single thing. It's just not feasible. It's unrealistic. And here's my last take on this. What people don't understand is we live in this LinkedIn bubble, and you'll have to understand there's other social media platforms. So for right now, like I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I do some TikTok. There's no way I can respond to every single comment unless I have an admin. And the people that respond to every single thing, I want you to know they're using ChatGPT to respond to them, and they have an admin responding to them. It's typically not them. So let's just be real here. So yeah, that's a hot take. Some people might not like it, but that's just like where things are, at least from my perspective.
This is big facts to me. I actually saw Salman post about this. If someone wants to tag Salman in the comments, Salman is one of my favorites, and I think he's one of the most thoughtful people out there. And he made a post something along the lines of like, don't be offended if somebody doesn't answer your DM. And I could not agree more. The DMs is the one thing that is so difficult because unless it's like a prospect DMing you saying, hey, I want to buy, like, where have you been? I hate to say this, and it feels messed up to say this, but it's not really the most high value usage of your time.
Yeah.
To reply to one person at a time, it's just not. And then even beyond that, like if you need someone, comment on their post, right?
Yeah.
You can even comment, like when you're leaving a voicemail, right? And say, hey, check out my email, right?
Right.
So you really need someone to respond to your DM?
Right.
Drop them a comment, say, hey, I sent you a DM, no worries, hit me back. And so one thing that I would say too is that if you are, let's say, one of those people that maybe someone hadn't replied to your message in a week and they like get back to you delayed, the worst possible thing you could do is make someone feel guilty for taking a long time to reply to you.
That's the quickest way for me to delete you.
If anything, the exact opposite, right? Like if anything, it's like, take your time, no urgency, no rush, right? Like there's, like you said, this pressure to be connected 24/7. Like if you support me, you don't want me to go down that path, right? Like, I genuinely will get to it when I get to it. You genuinely will get to it when you get to it. There's just only so much that we as humans are capable of in a certain amount of time. And we have lives. Like I have a wife, you know, I have a dog, like I have a job. Like it's not a full-time job to be on LinkedIn. If it ever got to that point, sure, maybe it's a different conversation. And then speaking on what you were speaking on earlier about replying to comments, because I agree with you, and I do also think that replying to comments is important.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's playing from a different playing field, right? Like I think there's like a 95-5 rule there. Where like if you're call it 95% of content creators and you've got maybe 20 people commenting on your post or whatever number it is, right? Like you should go back and reply to those comments, especially if you're in building mode. Right?
No,
like
100%. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If you're early, you should 100%.
You should be all in. Like I was replying to everything.
1,000%.
Yeah, I agree.
But when you get to the point that you just have the volume, right? That it's just not realistic. You should not be expected to reply to every comment. You should never be expected to reply to every DM, in my opinion.
No.
So I think the answer is it depends, right? Like where are you in your creator journey? And I think the 3-year mark is interesting because I've been creating for nowhere close to 3 years. I've been on the platform for 3 years, but nowhere near creating for that long. I can't imagine just the backlog of community messages, getting tagged in comments to reply to. It's a lot.
No, I got like, and this is like, you know, I'm like Morgan's flexing. I'm just like letting y'all know. I got like 100 to 400 messages a week when I first started. I responded to every single one for the first 3 years. So like I know, and from the volume standpoint, like there's because I was one of the only few people, right? So I got a lot of the stuff. So I was answering every single one. I was up to 1, 2 that I answered these things, right? I had to spend half the day Saturday answering every single comment. So here's the thing: I've done it before. I'm not saying I have never done it and like you shouldn't do it. I'm just telling people like you need to position your messaging differently because you don't want someone to have the anxiety to do those things if they have other things going on in their life. A lot of people may have missed a lot of things that people have created. I'll give you an example. Gary Vee, when he started VaynerMedia, he didn't actually post for 4 to 6 months.
I did not know that.
For the first 6 months, he didn't post, he didn't engage, he was building. But these are people miss these points.
Right.
Because if you are just a creator, but you're not building something, you may not understand that. It's easier to be a sales rep and create content than it is to be an entrepreneur or being an executive. It's just the facts. So that's where people are missing this. And that's what I don't like. I don't like people pressuring people to go do comments and DMs. That's an unrealistic expectation, and I just don't like it, because like that's not real. Because I'll tell you this right now. I would write down the 10 to 15 people that you like right now. 80% of them started in COVID. You can go literally look. They all started in COVID. I'm just letting y'all know. I'm gonna give you the research for you. They all started in COVID. COVID was it was easier time to create. I'm not saying COVID was easy. Don't take this wrong. It's an easier time to create because you were at home, you weren't commuting, right? You had a lot of time, quarantine, you weren't going anywhere, so you can create a ton of content, right? Right now, at the end of this year is when the 3-year mark will happen. I guarantee you, the people that you follow, their content will either shift, they're gonna get stale, they're gonna be confused, or they're gonna have to learn how to innovate. And this is not me talking trash. I've just been there. I just know what happens. At the 3-year mark, everything changes for you.
That's, I mean, obviously not exactly, but it's kind of near like the 1,000-day mark too.
Yeah.
Almost, right? Like,
oh, that's actually a good point. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
365 times 3. It's not exactly, but it's
right there.
It's pretty damn close. Maybe it's 1,100, but I'm not going to try and do math right now. It's Friday afternoon, and it's St. Patrick's Day, so we're not going to hold you to that. But here's one thing that I will add too, is what I think a big thing that we're losing is context, right? So like when you say everyone should reply to all comments, everyone should reply to all DMs, there's very little things in life that are absolutes, right?
Yeah.
Like every time you do this, or everyone do this, most of the time the answer is it depends, right? So should you reply to all the comments? If you got 5 comments, yeah, you should probably reply to all the comments. If you
probably should reply to all the comments.
If you got 500 comments, if you got 5,000 comments, I mean, that is hours upon hours upon hours of time. So what I would encourage everyone who's still listening, and a lot of the folks who I see in the comments I know are like this already, but seek context before you react a certain way, right? Because I think when you strip it down, if you can genuinely put yourself in that person's shoes, I think more times than not, we're going to do the same things, or at least have the same take on it. But we're not all looking through the same lens, right? Like we all don't have the same following. We all don't get the same engagement. We all don't have the same jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We all don't have the same personal lives.
Yeah.
So before you're quick to make an absolute statement, just go for context first. Not absolutes.
I think that's a fantastic point. And so hopefully y'all enjoying so far. If you are, let us know, right? Let us know what's going on. So only 6 reply to all comments. I mean, maybe, maybe, I don't know. Nicholas is like, who's the other person with you? He's spitting great knowledge. His name's Alex. How do you say your last name?
Brewski. I shouted you out earlier, Nicholas.
Yeah.
I was saying actually that you and I have never spoke personally, but I recognize your face. I've seen you in the feed. If you were ever to cold call me, it wouldn't even be a cold call. It would be a warm call.
Yeah.
And that's because, again, you may not be posting every day. You may not even be commenting every day, but just show up, right? Like just be there, and you have no idea how far I could take you. So appreciate the kind words.
Yeah, love that. And we have this in here as well, Terry. I think it's a great breakdown. Hopefully we'll screenshot this. How she's breaking it down. Respond to overnight comment activity, comment on new posts, post my own content, respond to contents on my posts, comment on more posts in the feed, finish responding to comments. A lot of comments.
Someone take a screenshot of this, and you and I should smile, and somebody post this on their feed, because this is a really good
we
take
can just do this right now.
Hey.
Okay, we screenshotted it for ourselves, but you all can screenshot it too. I think this was excellent. And I definitely will say that I have been lackluster in 2, and I even get lackluster in 5 as well. I don't like scrolling. I anti-scroll on almost every platform. I just don't like doing it. But 2, I could do a better job on for sure.
But context though. right?
Yeah.
Like 3 years ago, you probably had the time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I just look at these things like, hey, what can I be doing better? I think maybe if I pick 10 people and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like engage, but like it's one of those things where it's like there's so many other things. But I think this is if you're just starting out, this is amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where is it? That's great.
No, you got your
right
point.
there.
You're good.
And if anyone's in here and they're not connected to Tara yet, too, I'm going to give Tara a huge plug right here. Tara is the best writer on LinkedIn, and that is
no, she actually really is.
That is
no,
not
she
a,
actually really is.
That is not a hot take.
No, that's actually a real take.
Yeah, I am not going to preface that with hot
is.
take. So if you're not connected with Tara, get connected to Tara. She is one of the best writers you'll ever see. She is one of the best commenters you'll ever see. She very much has the playbook down. And if you're starting, if you told me who would you recommend, I'm just starting, who would you recommend me kind of follow in that path? It would be for sure Tara Horsemeyer.
I co-sign. She's helped me with, man, I don't know, countless posts where I'm like, I don't really know how to really articulate.
Oh, so that's why your posts are so good.
I'm being real. Like I on certain posts, I'm like, I don't know how to really go about this, and Tara will help me out a ton. So I have to show love where people show love. I think a lot of people just don't show love and they act like it's all them, but the supporting cast and other people that help along the way is absolutely important. So Tara's definitely helped me out on a couple posts for sure as I look to get to get better. Like video's my thing. So like when it comes to video, like I'm just like, I know what to say, but sometimes I don't know how to wrap it into text. And I think it's important to have people like that. So shout out to Tara. So Sean, Drew, we're gonna get to your questions. If you have more questions, drop them in. We're gonna hang out for probably the next 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna go have a good day in San Diego because it's nice.
We're starving.
And my stomach is
we're starving.
Luke, here's the thing. She helps me. It's not like I'm not Drizzy Drake over here. I don't have ghost writers out here, but she does help me. Like, I'm just being real. Like, she does help me at the end of the day. It's like, so I know Luke's kidding. I know Luke's kidding, but let me clarify this.
Luke's gonna have a diss track come out about Morgan.
Yeah,
and then Morgan's gonna hit him with the back-to-back.
See, this is why people can't give flowers to anyone, because then you get canceled for giving flowers. Like, you literally can't say anything nowadays. Someone's like, oh, well, Morgan's not a ghostwriter now. Like, that's why he does so well. Like, bro, come on, y'all. I know Luke's kidding, but like someone will actually take this seriously and try to do some shady thing with it. Here's the thing. That's like saying that the only reason a rep's successful is because they have lavender or sales off and they're actually not good, right? It's the same thing.
People are crazy,
right? But I know Luke is kidding, but someone will actually take this seriously. All right, so. Luke, no, I know you're joking, but someone's gonna watch this and be like, Morgan's. No, Tara's helpful, great friend. Shout out to Atlanta, and that's that, right? But this is a good question. If you have more questions, drop it in. We'll do some rapid fire here. Hopefully, you're enjoying yourself so far. If you're finding this helpful, let us know. Let us know if you want Alex back. I don't come to San Diego often, but if you do want Alex back, we can always have him for more of these conversations. We just did this impromptu, so I'm glad these questions are coming through. So have either of you solved the issue for email deliverability, especially when using a sales engagement platform? Look, I'm going to answer simply no. I know there's people out there that are looking to address this issue. I know Jesse Outlet talks about email deliverability a lot. So really, if you're looking to figure that out, I would go follow his content, but this is not my lane whatsoever. I don't know if it is yours, or we can just say we don't know this.
The short answer is multiple inboxes, but this is also not really my lane. So I would say you want to have multiple domains.
Okay,
is the short answer.
Yeah, I'm not a person that's just going to feed you information if I don't know it. So I'll just feed you to the right people. All right, this is a good question. So the bigger the following, the harder it seems to maintain and build relationships. How do you guys handle that? All right, mine's very intricate. Yeah, he hates you. Look, see what's happening. Luke's trying to roast me as Drizzy Drake
Princess Drizzy.
Yeah, I'm getting ousted. Like, I got ghostwriters out here, so now I'm about to get canceled. And now they're saying, screw you, you're about to get canceled. We're just trying to help, but now we're about to get canceled.
If you're not ruffling some feathers, you're doing it wrong. It's just like, what's the appropriate ratio of feather ruffling to enjoying? So, we know that everyone's kidding. We appreciate all you guys. What was your response to Drew's? Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So the thing is that I don't associate with most people from an inner circle level. And again, that's going to be like, wait, what are you talking about, Morgan? I think it's incredibly important to figure out who you trust, Trust is a big proponent of this. So there are 3 different levels of relationships. At least in this, as you get bigger following, right? One is just an acquaintance. Like, okay, cool, like whatever. Actually, there's 4. There's 4. One is an acquaintance. It's like, all right, cool. I know who you are. If I see you, what up? I have nothing against you. It's just like it is what it is, right? 2 is like a peer. So it's like someone, maybe we hop on a couple webinars together. You're cool. We're in the same space. I might share some best practices from time to time, but I'm not telling you anything about like the business and how my vision, right? I'm just gonna give you a couple things. 3 is like people I'm like in deep with, like partnerships, extremely close friends. I have those in the space, right? I talk about them from time to time, right? And people know who those are. I post it from time to time, and some people you don't know, right? But I have extremely close relationships with them. I talk to them almost every single day. They know where I'm going. They know what I'm looking to do. I have a 10-year, decade vision across the board, and like people know what that is, and that's really the inner circles. And I look to continuously deepen those relationships. It's like at max 25 people. Like it even sometimes fluctuates depending on where people are at in their lives. But those are people I'm going deep with. 4 is like supporters. So these are people that follow your content. Once you get to a certain point, there's a lot of people that do support you, and I have a whole interaction with those individuals as well. So there are people that I'll hang out with if I'm in a certain city. They're just a supporter. You won't ever see them on social, but they're just good. They're just overall good people to be with, right? And I actually appreciate the supporters that I've had in the past 7 years, because people take the time to listen to you, read your content. That means a lot. So that's how I break down those 4. And Drew, I spend a lot of time with people in 3. 2s typically become 3s. It's just how much do I trust you, what's going on, and deepen that relationship. And I value the deepen relationships a lot, because I want to make sure that I can obviously trust you and can be transparent.
This is a good question. Honestly, I'm still kind of working my way through this right now. Like I think starting the podcast really kind of accelerated this for me. And I'm going to go on a wee bit of a tangent here, but you kind of mentioned this earlier. Like you would be so astonished how many people reach out to me and ask to be on the podcast and have never once supported anything I've done. Like not a singular like, not a singular cut, right? So that's kind of bizarre. So going back to the point, if you just support people, it will get you unimaginably, unfathomably further ahead than you could ever imagine. But going back to Drew's question here, it's a challenge for sure, because the last thing you want to do is like ignore people or tell people like you don't have a time for a call. I frankly have been grappling back and forth with this one. Like, I don't know if the answer is like paywalling your time. I don't know if the answer is an auto reply message in the inbox. I tried an auto reply.
I have an answer for you.
Yeah, I tried an auto reply and it kind of like didn't go super well for me. So I'm steering away from that. But I'm very much asking Drew's question as he's asking it as well, to be candid.
Here's how you never have to get on a call ever again. I'll tell you. Most people, the question I'm going to tell you, 99% of people don't answer it, and then it saved me time. So for the first like 2 years, I took every single call, every single one, every single SDR, every single person. I took all of them. And what I realized, the questions were the same. Hey, how did you get started? What? It's on my LinkedIn. What are you talking about? Hey, what's your role? Huh? That's literally on LinkedIn.
Right.
What is wrong with you? Right? So then I was like getting really frustrated. It was just confusing, because I was like 15 minutes and 20 minutes answering questions that could have been solved on LinkedIn. And then I finally got to the questions you want to ask. I'm already annoyed. I don't even the answer. And then from there, it's just like, okay, what are we doing? Right? So the way to go about this is ask someone, hey, happy to get on a call. What exactly would you like to talk about? Most people can't answer that question. I would ask people and they wouldn't be able to answer that. So then I was like, okay, you were just gonna hop on this call, say that you talked to me and feel excited about it for like, a day, and then you just move on. It's wild. That's really, like if any of y'all have a ton of DMs, people ask you for like 30 minutes of your time, just ask them what exactly would you like to talk about. Most people will not be able to answer that question.
That's such good advice. Because number one is I love simple. Like anytime there's an answer, and it's simple, like that's where I'm going to gravitate towards.
And you might have a video for it already.
There you go. And because like simple makes life easier, so I'm all about it. That's such a good question, and I don't mean to like sound some sort of way, like it's not like this matters, but like most of the people who I have taken calls with, and this is not for everyone. Let me just clarify that. Most of the people who I've even taken calls with, like, don't even support me anymore. Right?
No,
so
I mean,
so
the same
like,
for me. It's like they don't.
It's not the point of, hey, I'm taking calls, but it's like you're taking the call to deepen the relationship. And if you take one call and then you never hear from the person again, it's a little bit of a shitty experience for the other person, right? Because like, again, to the previous point, like we have a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of other people. So that's a really good piece of advice. I would I'll take Morgan up on that.
Do it. You'll notice that people won't get back to you. Even with people that want to be mentees, I send them questions they have to answer, and most people don't answer them. I just want to see how serious people are. I don't have time to waste with people who are not serious. And it might sound bad, but like it is what it is. Like I just don't have time for it.
I've started doing the same thing in sales. This actually kind of ties into the sales process. Like if you have a meeting with someone and you have like typical run-of-the-mill qualification questions that you got to ask, send them before in an email.
Yeah.
If someone gets back to you and they answer all those qualification questions, number one, that person is bought in and they are showing up to that meeting.
Right.
Number two, you've cut out that awkward beginning part where you've got to build that initial rapport in 2 minutes or less, in my opinion. Like you got to kind of get to it, but then you cut out all that BS of like interviewing someone about stuff that you probably could figure out, or they could probably take 30 seconds to reply to an email, but it might take 6-10 minutes on a 30-minute call, a 45-minute call. That's a big chunk of time that could be done in advance. And the third thing that's most importantly is when that person shows to that meeting, they know you mean business. You're not there to go through the motions or
it's very intentional.
Exactly. Check off the box like, ooh, I got a meeting, boss. It's like, no, like we're here to talk about important shit. This is what we're going to cover. And I think it's a great way for both parties to just kind of get into the space of like, hey, we got to do this transparently together. It takes two to tango. This is going to be the best use of our time. All I need you to do is take a few minutes and fill out this email. So you're basically taking that and bringing it to the
inbox. Exactly. And both parties will appreciate that. All right, y'all. So both of us are starving. I'm gonna be super real with y'all. Like it's time to eat. However, these questions have been fantastic. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. I know it's like 5 for some people out there. So we appreciate you hanging with us.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That is true.
On the East Coast.
Yeah, that is true. So if y'all have any further questions, hit me up in the DM. If you want Alex back, let us know. And it was great hanging with y'all. And Luke, you're absolutely ridiculous right now. But the thing is, like, that's how I feel about most things. Like people want to hop on a call to feel the validation that they did something, when literally I get on a call and I'm like, I could have just texted you this answer. Like I didn't need to be here. And so you have to be ruthlessly savage about your time. That's where I learned that a lot from John. Like I just don't like spending time doing things that literally could have been a voice note. It could have been a text. And now we're talking about things that don't even matter. So just be ruthless with your time and people will respect that. And then also as well, like ask those questions. Hopefully it's helpful.
Tell Morgan to have me back, everyone. This was a blast. Everyone a lot of people who stayed with us with us for a majority of the time.
Yeah.
So thank you, each and every one of you. It seriously means a lot. It's actually probably a good time to mention this is the first time I've ever done a live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we like went through it and it was a blast. So everyone who was in the comments, we really, really appreciate you so much. It does not go unnoticed. Thank you all so much, but we got some fish tacos to go smash.
Yeah. Y'all have a good one.